Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope you're all enjoying this wonderful day and that everybody is safe and sound. Another Thursday, that means another interview in a series of women and empowerment. And this day we are going all the way up to New York. I will be going live with Dorothy. She's a transformational coach and she's quite an inspiring woman. It's the first time that she's gonna join a live, and yeah, last week the connection didn't really work, so fingers crossed that it will work this time. For all the people who are tuning in for the very first time, my name is Selina. I'm a life coach, and my mission is to help people become the best version of themselves by gaining more self-love and inner strength. The majority of the time, I coach people who suffer from codependency and want to break free from toxic relationships. I created this interview live series because I think it is very important to create more awareness about this subject. And I think Instagram is a great platform to bring women from all over the world together to talk about this amazing subject. So if everything is good, Dorothy will be here in a few minutes. Let's hope, fingers crossed. Hi, hi,
Hi,
hi. How are you?
I'm well. I made it. I made it.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving also. It's Thanksgiving now, right?
It is. Thank you very much. How are
Uh,
you?
I am fine. It's 8 p.m. here. So it's already ending the day almost. So yeah. Everything is fine. Busy as usual, but everything is okay. I'm so happy that we're here. I gave a quick introduction about who you are and what you do. So I'm going to give the word to you. Who are you? What do you do? Tell us more about you.
Well, thanks. First, I want to say thank you, Selena, for having me here. It was really a pleasure to meet you through the Les Brown Prodigy Group and to really just start on that journey. So, for me, I just recently got certified as a life coach. I had gotten a certification back in 2006, and I really used it for my own personal, development and for business. I applied it to business, but not as a coach specifically. And yeah, so that's about me.
Oh, wow. So you also say like transformational coach. What does it mean? What are you helping people with? What are you focusing on when somebody's coming to you and asks like, "Hey, Dorothy, can you help me with coaching?" What do you offer?
Well, I'll say first off that I've been in business for myself for the past 20 years. The first 10 years I was in business as a technical person. I did like, I would go in and train people on IT issues or troubleshoot issues. And then I traveled. I'll get into that a little bit later, but I just found that whenever I was working with someone, that there were always issues that were preventing them from doing their job.
Mm,
And maybe it was codependency or people pleasing or um, divorce. Fill in the blank. Whatever spoke to their heart that was taking them away from their work. And I don't know. I'm trying to think of like how to tell you that I kind of morphed into another career, and along the way, I started working more one-on-one, specifically with women, although I
mhm.
do work with some men, but really with women. And yeah, I could tell you a little bit about that journey, but um, I don't know where you really want me to start.
No, yeah, it's also very inspiring, I think, because it's my experience as well as a coach. You feel like it's a journey. For me, it was also a journey. It was a process, a personal process in becoming a coach and doing what I am doing. And the more I speak with other women who are also coaching, it is a journey and it's a process. You don't wake up like one day and okay, overnight you decided like, hey, let's do something new. I'm gonna become a coach and I'm gonna coach women or I'm gonna coach people who suffer from codependency. It is something that grows inside you. That's one thing. And on the other thing, it's also your own process because becoming a coach and coaching people, it is like holding a mirror in front of you because people that you coach, you recognize so much of yourself as well. So it's also your personal journey that continues. So I don't know, how was it for you to how was your process? How did you decide to become a coach?
Well, so I'll give you the quick version of my hero's journey, or my Shiro's journey, if you will. I grew up in a household that was pretty toxic, pretty dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm,
I was a runaway at 16 and a mom by 17. So I really
mm-hmm,
learned a lot about a hard life, living life unintentionally. You know what I mean? Kind of like bumping into things.
mm-hmm,
And um, I did later get married, and I did try to like go to school and do what I thought I should do, or what I was inspired. I had an interest in communication and psychology, and I kind of fell into internet development, and I was going down this path, and it felt right for me at the time, because I had tried my hand at so many things, even being a hairstylist for like 10 years.
mm-hmm,
And I just felt like I wasn't really complete. There was something missing.
mm-hmm,
But but when I was in high school, before I quit high school, I had taken a photography class, and
mm-hmm.
I fell in love with photography.
Oh wow.
And I never thought like how could I in my mind's eye I was like I could travel. I value travel. I value new experiences. I want to run away to the ends of the earth, that kind of thing. But I didn't see it as a way to make to make a living.
Mm-hmm,
And so I spent a lot of time, as they say, climbing the wrong ladder. And eventually I got into information security, and opened up a recruitment agency in that area, and worked for someone. It was funny because I had this position as a director of global alliances for North America. And I would show up
mm-hmm,
at these trade shows, mostly in Canada, um, and across the United States. But he was represented in 22 countries worldwide. And you want to talk about imposter syndrome? I
mm-hmm,
just I did not feel like I was capable or competent, or even I didn't know how to speak the language. I needed glasses, and I didn't get glasses until I was like maybe eighth grade. So I had a reading deficit. I just had all these self-limiting beliefs about myself. And yet
mm-hmm,
this person, he saw something. He was a small business owner, and he had 12 consultants that he placed, all around, and spoke different languages.
mm-hmm,
And he saw something in me that I did not see in myself. And he cultivated that. And I could tell you, Selena, there were times, like I can remember one time being in Minnesota, and he would put me in these penthouse, like the executive floor.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I was on welfare and food stamps, when I was a young mom. This was a different life, and certainly my life is different today than it was back then. But I never experienced luxury at that level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know I said to you I'm from New York, but I'm actually from New Jersey, the metro, because I grew up near New York City, like just right across the water. But now I live in the country. But he said to me one day, he goes, Jersey girl. He'd say, Jersey girl. He goes, don't stop until somebody tells you to stop, because I was filled with self doubt, filled with it. And yet he was confident. He was confident, and
Mm-hmm.
I brought him back business. But
Wow.
there was still this feeling, because I was working from a home office. I was only working a couple of times a year. Sometimes he would actually give me like a $10,000 budget and say, "Go away for the weekend, pick where you want to go, and
Oh.
bring me back business. Like go to a trade show or something." And so what happened was, I had a catastrophic illness that happened after I had my appendix out, and I wound up sick for a year. I almost died. I was on a PICC line, blood poisoning. You go in for a simple surgery, and you come
Oh,
out.
yeah. Come out.
Yeah. And it was right around the same time, I would say, like after 9/11, there was just like I had a lot of ambivalence. I had seen enough of the world, traveling, and I had seen how people take care of themselves when they can afford to do so, and
Mm-hmm.
how they spend like if they go on holiday, where they go and how they go. And like for me, an exciting night would be going to the movies and eating popcorn. For them, it would be going to, a resort in St. John and, playing tennis. You know what I mean?
A
So,
huge difference.
yeah, it was now in my vision, whereas before, that kind of lifestyle was not in my vision. And yet, when I would meet people at these conferences, most of them were men. Most of them,
Mm.
like I would say, they were engineers. A lot of them, it was technical. And there'd always be one really powerful woman there that was doing like the soft skills workshops. And, I learned a lot from them. I learned that they really understood how to balance life, how to have that work life balance, because they were going to work and taking care of the kids and traveling and
Mhm.
fill in the blank. But a lot of them also had codependency, divorce, poor
Yeah.
communicate. Even though they were teaching it, like all of us, we learn as we go, right? But they say like you can't lead somebody where you haven't been. They had been through different walks of business, and
For the
they really,
hardship. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
No.
so yeah, so I cut loose. I really wasn't making enough money because I wasn't working that much. My physical health, it was kind of having like a dark night of the soul kind of spiritual crisis. And I went to work at an ecological learning center called Genesis Farm. And I became a cook. I worked under a master herbalist,
Wow.
and um, I learned that people came from, again, all over the world, and they brought their traditional recipes that were based on where they lived, not on the standard American diet. And they taught me a lot about health and nutrition and body mind spirit connection. But what they also taught me there is no such thing as a martyr. And if you want to have a good life, you take control of your life. You plot it out.
True.
And
True.
yeah, so there's like a second part to that story, but I've kind of spoken. If I'll take a breath.
First of all, thank you very much for sharing your journey so far. It's kind of honorable as well, and what a journey it has been so far. Um, and I also truly believe we meet people in our life that are mirrors for us and that encourage us to make a difference. And I think it only takes one person to truly believe in who you are and see the possibilities and the things that you are capable of, and that alone will make a huge difference of in who you are becoming. And yeah, I think we are all, I had my journey as well, very grateful for those people who are like there and supporting us. So thank you very much for telling that, and it's quite inspiring to see the journey that you took and the person that you are today and how you are standing in life and the positivity and the mindset. It is very inspiring to do that. On the other hand, I recognize a lot of things that you're saying as well, and I think when you go through certain experiences and you can turn your mess into your message, that's like really a powerful tool, because when you educate yourself and you have all the experience that you went through, then you can really start coaching and helping people in a different level because you know what they went through. For me, the part codependency, that's yeah really my niche. It's also because I came from a very toxic relationship, and I also came from a very toxic childhood, let's say. So it's because all those components, let's say, and the study, that I like now decided, if I can make it through, if I can overcome codependency, if I can break free from toxic relationships, I will make it my mission to help other women or other men who are in the same situation. So I understand that, yeah, 200% what you're saying. So but you said there's a second part to the story in becoming a coach and helping people in their journey.
Yeah, and I'd like to just comment on what you just said, because it is that codependency in relationships, and I don't mean just personal relationships. I mean
Mm.
all relationships, business relationships, friendships, just children, whatever relationship. When I'm not acting if I'm not doing it from my heart, if I'm doing it because if I want you to love me, right? If you love me, you'll use me. I won't speak my truth. I won't be authentic because if there's some kind of attachment to it,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
then and I'm a work in progress on that because
Mm.
I still have my shadow side. I still have my wounds, and
Yeah.
they rear their head, and it's always another opportunity for growth when that happens. But I'm thankful for those opportunities now because I can work on them today. I
True.
can't work on them if I don't even acknowledge them.
No,
Well, so
true.
what happened was while I was at Genesis Farm, they had a focus on food, air, um, power, like any type of activism that had to do with global awareness and ecology, basically. And my
Hmm.
passion was food.
Oh,
And
wow.
I had a lot of cancer in my family.
Oof.
And it was funny, in their pantry, they had a wheatgrass juicer. And I became fascinated. They had over 2,000 books in the library. I became fascinated with how do you help people that have autoimmune issues, etc.,
Oh.
through wheatgrass, right? And I looked up Ann Wigmore, and there was the Ann Wigmore Institute in Puerto Rico, but she had passed already. But there was a woman in California that ran the Living Light Culinary School,
Hmm.
and I made a decision. I made a decision to travel 3,000 miles away and go to culinary school. And there were
Wow.
people there from Hong Kong and Iceland and all over because it was a very prestigious school.
Hmm.
And I really wanted to learn. And so I was almost 50 years old when I did that. And
Wow.
there was a woman there from Hong Kong, and my nickname is Dosa. I got that nickname from my friends. It's short for Dorothy Salvatore, but I got that nickname at around 50, and she used to pronounce it Dosha. She'd say, Dosha, life begins for you at 50, she said, because I was
Oh,
coming into my own. I was
yeah.
kind of letting go of like, this no longer serves me. This is not for my highest good. I don't like this. I don't feel good in this environment. But there,
Mhm.
I just blossomed, and then that about 3 years after that, I won an international award for my photography and food spreading. It was Eco Educator of the Year because I could,
Wow.
and that's the thing is that every person I have met in my life has somehow impacted me, either positively or negatively. But in this part, Selena, I've really had a lot of mentors that really helped me
Hmm.
learn to love myself and learn to get over like all of that negativity.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so inspiring. And also with the photography, I gonna check your website later. I didn't have the time so far, but I'm really gonna check. You made me very curious. Before I go further, if the people that are tuning in, thank you very much for joining us. If you have questions during the live, do leave them in the comments, and then we will discuss them. Um, and it's also a very good point that you are mentioning. It is important that we find mentors during our way, people that inspire us during the journey, but also people we can learn from. And I think that is also a role model that you, as a coach, you want to be there not only to coach people, but to really help them push through, to go through everything that you went through, to inspire them, to mentor them, to give them the possibility that it is possible, that whatever you are willing to do, whatever your dream is, that you can just do it. Like you said, for me, my life started when I was 50. And I think that's so beautiful because you mentioned it, it's a form of freedom. The moment you decide, like, hey, this is me in all my glory, and everything what other people are telling me or doing, and everything that happened in my past, I accept it, but now I am choosing me. I love you, but I love myself more. That is such a huge form of freedom, and I think that is a very important one to strive for. So yeah, I love that. I love the way that you put it. That's it's truly inspiring. um, So if we speak about the coaching and about women and empowerment, because I know empowerment is like very close to your heart as well, women and empowerment. Can you tell us a little bit around that? Before I jump to that, somebody's commenting, Beatrice, on a journey. I love you, Dosa.
Oh,
So
yes, that's
one
too.
for you. So no.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, so when you're in the kitchen, people are more themselves, and I wound up spending a lot more time with women. I wound up picking up my camera. I found someone, an old friend that knew a celebrity photographer in New York City, and he took me under his wing once again. Another person, Bill Menzel, he took me under his wing, and he showed me the ropes. He showed me how to photograph celebrities, and I started to see that there was this difference between what we idealize and the
Mhm.
true person. And a lot of the people that I would see, they when I would get a chance, like because at one or two little parties I got a chance to speak to some people, and they were human, but on the outside we see them as iconic, but they're just human beings that have problems just like we do. They're
Just
not
like,
above that. But my passion went towards, I was doing a lot of fashion week events in Florida and New York, like just photographing, and I started to become very inspired by how women perceive themselves and how they define beauty. Is it a lot of makeup? Is it no makeup? Is it fake implants? Is it no implants? It's like, who are we doing this for? Like what and why?
and why are we doing it for
And why,
exactly?
and when I think about it, I kind of kid around and I say I gave away the best years of my thighs because I hated myself when I was, like, when I had this body, now, it's like, oh, well, but, um, yeah, so the photography, I had the photography first. I have Dorothy Salvatore photography for the past 10 years, and I love it. It's my passion. And really, I love to do shoots with women who just they want to explore who they are, and they
Oh,
really want to come out of where they are. Some women, unfortunately have had breast cancer. They
oh,
want to experience the beauty of themselves after surgery, like whether or not they have breast replacement or not. They want to accept themselves for who they are.
mhm.
And then the other women that I help are women who have websites, for example, or they have social media, or they need digital marketing. I combine my understanding of digital marketing.
Mhm.
I went back to school for that in 2018. But I also, just help them, whether it's through color psychology or pricing psychology, or how they want to put their persona out there. Because if their persona does not match who they are, they're not going to find the customer that's really going to work for them, or the client. They're not
Also,
going to attract that, you know. So,
yeah, also true. That's very
yeah.
important. And also, again, very empowering. I see a comment coming in. Can I get involved? I want to know how I can feel secure and enjoy life while I'm alone because I feel insecure. Yeah, I'm gonna give the word to you first. So I would say, um,
Yeah, first of all, I'm going to rub that into my heart because I can remember that feeling of not wanting to be by myself, and that I needed I needed to feel connected to someone or something to take me outside of me.
yeah,
Now I actually love time by myself, and I love my friends too, believe me. But I
yeah.
love meditation. I love writing in the morning. I love going out and photographing by myself. I just love that peaceful time. I'm no longer fighting for the thoughts in my head to go away. I welcome them.
Hmm, hmm. Yeah, that's very recognizable as well. I had those times as well, but now I really can long for those moments that I spend with myself, the quality time I can give myself. And for me, it's like meditation as well, or writing. I'm writing my first book, and I can really lose myself in that writing. And it's also something that I really yeah, really, it's nurturing me. So I feel like I really need to do that. So I understand that feeling as well. The insecure feeling, I also think it's nowadays I hear it more often with people that I coach as well, because everything around us is getting pretty insecure. Everything that we thought like is normal or was normal, or like a normal life, is now on shaky ground. I think that's also something that is making things more complicated and more insecure. Um, I don't know how you cope with insecurity, what you would say, like, let's do this or that. Oh,
Uh, are you asking me, or you? I don't know if you're looking. Yeah,
no, I'm
with
asking
with
you.
ins yeah, with insecurity, I usually call a friend. I call somebody. I call somebody that I know has my back and is going to be my
Mhm,
cheerleader. You know,
mhm,
um,
mhm,
yeah. I try to limit my circle. I try not to, bring in people that are going to drain me. I try because we're not always. I'm not always up. You know what I mean? Like there are times I need to call somebody to get out of myself. But
mhm. True. Yeah, I think that's a very important one, and I recognize it as well. Sometimes you're like in a thought process or in a thought loop, and you cannot solve it yourself because you're constantly in your mind thinking like if this or if that or what if or what. And sometimes it's like also very good to just call somebody and say like, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and somebody who can just yeah, put things straight, or somebody you can just talk with. So no, I think that's a good one. Oh, he replied, this is the perfect answer, thank you. You're so welcome. I'm glad it helped. And meditation, for me, that was such a life changer. I think if we speak about empowerment and empowering yourself, I think small things that we do on a constant base, that is also for me very empowering, because the moment you start shifting and the moment you are making a commitment to yourself, those small things are the things that are going to empower you. The quality time with yourself, meditation, healthy food, good sleep pattern, and you can go on. And there are so many things. Is that something you recognize as well?
yes, and I was going to say that just something that came in, um, that I am very lucky that I have very good friends that I would consider as wonderful as any fantastic coach. I'm very lucky in that regard, and I have
Mm-hmm.
really good coaches I can go to when I need to. And that's what I was going to say, is that sometimes the problems are so historical that they really need a touch of hypnosis, or a look at self-limiting beliefs or core values to really get the brain thinking, because they're all habits. So if I
Mm-hmm.
want the habit to be replaced, I've got to like let go of one to let a new one in.
Yeah,
So
true.
yeah.
Yeah, true. Got another comment from Joe. Exactly, insecurity is really bad, because whenever I want to do some, I remember that I'm alone and I'm not going to enjoy that, simply because people are going to look at me or judge me. Yeah, I understand that one quite well. It's also very recognizable. But then we come to that part that you're also saying, the moment that I returned, the moment I became 50, I chose me. I started loving myself. And I think that's a process we are all striving for, is like meeting yourself, loving yourself. Um, and the moment you start doing that, it doesn't actually matter what people are telling about you, how they are looking or how they are judging. You will look at it in a very different way. Or for me, at least, that is what happened, because the way people talk about me or the way people judge me, actually it's telling way much more about them than it is telling something about me. And the moment I made that shift, it was also a huge life changer, because then you look at situations or people or comments or judgments, and then you can see like, hey, is this actually something that I have to look at? Is this my responsibility? Or is this actually something from the other person that he is projecting on me? So I don't know, how does this resonate with you?
Well, as I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it in this talk, but I know we've talked a little bit offline. Um, so I am a certified coach through ecology. It's the School of
Mm-hmm.
Modern Applied Psychology. And in
Mhm.
there we have a book writing, because there's a lot of coaches that are writing books, including myself, and we collaborate. And so one of the members did the hero's journey, and by Joseph Campbell. If anybody that's listening Googles Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey, there's a beautiful illustration of going from the unknown to the known. And so, you have this person, they're on a journey, they they're happy as a clam, and then some reason they want to go on a journey. They're not as happy as they used to be, and there are going to be those people right at that point, from going from the known to the unknown, that are going to try to hold us back, that are going to say, oh, you have a problem, or you know whatever the dynamic is that keeps us stuck.
Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
and once the person makes a decision to go on the journey, instantly mentors will show up, whether they're coaches, people will show up.
Mhm.
And then they come to a point where they go to, they're either going to develop the new habit or change, or they're going to go back to the old way, and that they call that the abyss. And so I've had many times where I've been in the abyss, where it's like, do I want to go back to my old way, or do I want to go forward? And it's baby steps. It's baby
Yeah.
steps. And they say once you get through the one hero's journey, you start a whole new one over again. So it's
Yeah.
not like you're ever fixed.
No, it's a circle, and it keeps on going. Let's say it's with everything in life, and actually, I think we also should be grateful for that, because life is learning every day again and again, and it's never complete and it's never finished, and we learn so much about ourselves. And yeah, I think that's very powerful as well. If we speak about empowerment, and if like, hey, my lifelong, I will learn, I will grow. It is a circle. Um, I think it's very, if you're open for it, I think it's very empowering as well. So no, I'm really on board.
Yeah, the
So,
I
oh,
did I
sorry.
did join I joined a Facebook group on the book Women Who Run with the Wolves. This
Mhm.
woman
Oh,
Flora runs that group, and we met twice a month. And phenomenal book for any woman that wants to see cultural patterns or historical patterns in a story telling format. And if you could get a group of women together to do that book, it's so helpful. And the one
oh,
we're reading now is called Circle of Stones, and it
okay.
really is about that, about coming out of all of that noise and coming into our own. Yeah.
I get that question sometimes as well, like, hey, Selina, now you have an Instagram live series and it's all about women and empowerment, but why do we only empower women? Why don't you empower men as well? Or then I get questions like, are men nowadays ready to embrace empowered women? I don't know. I always think it's interesting how they look at the situation. What is it? What is it for you? Are men nowadays ready to embrace empowered women? Why is there so much more focus on empowering women? What is your thought about it?
It's a mixed bag. I'm the mother of two grown sons. So I would always say to them growing up, I'd say, you have to learn to work out your relationships with me, because however you deal with life, you're going to take it outside of here in that same fashion, whether you communicate or don't communicate.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
I think that for, I think men today are ready. I think there are men that aren't ready, and there are men that aren't.
mhm,
But I think that if we lead by example, we teach people how to treat us. I mean, that's one thing my friend Terry tells me all the time is we teach people how to treat us, and by
mhm,
that
mhm.
example, they become empowered. So
Yeah, that's also true. That's indeed true. And it also starts with how we raise our children. I have a son myself, and I think it's very important the way you parent as well. Also, that is a circle that is never ending. And when you think you got it all figured out, a new phase is coming, and you can start all over again. But I also think I have a son. I also think it's very important that I give him guidelines, that I talk and not talk really talk, but that I show him like, hey, being a woman, it means this, or being a mother means this, but that you can also see like a woman can be empowered, or there are so many facets about being a woman. I think it's a very important one. I don't know, how do you imply that in parenting? Because yeah, yours are a bit older than my son is, I
Yeah,
think.
so I was a hot mess, you know, like I was a hot mess when my kids were small. I was trying to figure out life for myself, and I, you know, was trying to figure out life as a mom too. The
Hmm.
one thing I can say is that I love my sons with all my heart, and they know that. And if
Hmm.
that's the only thing I've taught them, that's enough. Because
Hmm.
there has to be somebody in this world that loves us unconditionally.
That, yeah, that is so important, especially also the word you put behind it, unconditionally. To know that you can fail, that you can make mistakes, that you can make wrong decisions, that you can learn, that you can fall, but that there's somebody hold behind you and is always going to be there and loving you for the person that you are. And I think that is also a very important feeling to give to your children. That's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
But I honestly couldn't give that until I got it for myself, you know?
yeah.
Because, you
And
know, I was more, you know, and when they were little, I was more like, do as I say, not as I do. You know, you have to listen to me, you know, because like I said, I just, you don't know, you can't do what you don't know, you
No,
know?
that's true. That's exactly true. And that's a process as well. And it's like you say, the moment you find it in yourself, I'm also convinced everything we need is inside ourselves. It is just for us to find it. And nowadays we have so many distractions, and we seek for sometimes also quick fixes, because love outside ourselves, we need it. You're going to look for it, and you will find it. But actually everything is inside yourself. You don't need the quick fixes to be happy, to be loved, to be whatever. But yet we still do that. I also think it's kind of society wise, the way we are brought up in a society we are living in. I think that's also a huge role in the whole process. I don't know, how do you experience that?
I just went totally blank. I just had like a, it just went out. I heard everything you said and then it just went out.
No, it's no problem. It's okay. No, it's okay. No, yeah, know more about the quick fixes and society, and how we learn
Yeah.
to look for things outside ourselves, because there's a solution for everything. We can buy everything, is just one mouse click away. So I think we are also a bit conditioned, if I can say it, if that's the right word, to look for quick fixes whenever we feel something.
Yeah. So I definitely was and still at times am guilty of looking for validation outside of myself. So
Mhm.
whether it be in a relationship where I'm going to give so that I get, you know, um, I don't know. I can kind of spot it more so now in myself and in others. And I try to tame that beast for me.
Mhm, mhm. And how do you do that? If you say like taming that beast, how do you do that?
Well, have you ever heard that expression like if it's hysterical, it's historical?
No, I didn't know that one. No,
Yeah.
no.
So if like if I'm interacting with somebody and I get really upset or something, I will take that and I will write about it or I'll meditate about it and I'll try to get to the core of what is really reminding me of what's the wound that needs to be healed here. And
Mm,
so, you know, if I have like I remember one woman saying to me once, the person who needs the relationship most controls it.
mm.
And I believe that to be true because there's a
The per-
vested interest, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's actually a very good one. I love that saying. Indeed. Yeah. I see another comment coming in. To actually, oh gosh, I'm so proud. Such strong women. Hopefully, one day I become one like you. Oh, that's very nice comment.
That's
20 years old, and I really feel like I need to be strong enough to face this world. Yeah, I can imagine that nowadays. I think it's for everybody, the feeling that we need to be strong or have to be strong. Although I think that showing your vulnerability is also a form of being strong and standing strong in life. I don't know how do you, if there's something you want to comment on the.
Yeah, so I wish I had the energy of a 20-year-old because boy, would I do a lot, you know. So I would say like if you're 20 and you're fearful, take action. Do something that's going to make you feel better and going to make this world a better place. You
Yeah.
know, get involved, get involved in something so you can get outside of yourself
Hmm.
and just yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because
true.
it is a scary world. And you know the I mentioned about the working at that ecology center and through the coaching program, and then I met someone in Morocco, and she just wrote a scientific paper, a study on climate. It's on LinkedIn, it's posted, but yeah, she had asked me to just look it over for the English, you know, for the English language, and we're actually working on a little children's book together now. But
Oh,
what powerful connections when just live life. You know, if you're
mhm.
interested in something, just go and do it,
Yeah,
and you'll be
exactly.
amazed what you find. You know,
Yeah, that's so true. And
but
don't wait for the perfect moment to arise because there will never be a perfect moment. If you are waiting for the right moment to start or to do things, you will be waiting for your entire life. And sometimes it's also when you put your mind to it, things will just happen. Things will just yeah, things will happen and things will come on your path. That's also how life is working. The moment you decide like I am worth this and this is what I want, the universe is reacting in a very very fast way. Sometimes it surprises me even that I think I really want to do this or I really want to work on that, and then before you know it, it is coming, it is there. So yeah, I think yeah, just go for it. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. I should say, yeah, I'm from Morocco as well. Yeah, that might make things maybe a little bit complicated now and then, but just live the dream. If you have the dream, never give up on it. That's what I would want to say. No, just never give up and make it happen. There's always a way, always.
right.
Or that's what I believe. And there's so many people who are living the dream who came from places that you couldn't even imagine that they came from. So everything, I think everything is possible as long as you're believing in yourself.
Yeah,
But yeah.
and you know, with this whole COVID thing and not being able to get out, I mean, everybody's on Zoom now. So
Yeah.
I spend a good part of my week in these, you know, in training.
Hmm.
And there are people from, I'll just give you a few, like India, Morocco, the UK, Canada, um, uh, Malaysia, just all over the place. And
Hmm.
that takes me out of myself to see, well, my world feels real small and it feels like, you know, COVID's like just imploding here. But you know what? It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah. We are in this all together. And at the same time, we're all like in lockdown or in isolation. We are not, we cannot go out anymore. That's definitely true. But if I also look at since March, we are in lockdown. If I see the connections that I have with people from all over the world, going from the States, Canada, Africa, India, Australia, it is worldwide. And without the isolation, without the lockdown, I wouldn't be doing probably what I've been doing right now. So I think we all are looking for creative solutions to connect with people. And I think the connection that we are building right now is online, but it's a very different kind of connection and it's going deeper and wider than ever before, or at least that's my experience. And I also think it's very enriching to have conversations with people from all over the world, because what is common for me here isn't common for you over there or isn't common somewhere else. So it's very enriching at the same time. So yeah, I'm actually not grateful for COVID, but I'm grateful for things that came out of the whole situation. Um, and I think that's also very important, or a very important lesson when everything is going back to sort of less normal. things that we take along with us, like, hey, what did I learn from this period? How did I meet myself and take it along? So
Yes.
yeah, I
See,
fully
for me,
agree.
my mindset was if I'm going to be home, I had been teaching social media courses at the local community
Mhm,
college to adults, and then when COVID hit, there's so many classes online that the courses weren't filling. But what I found that was that women in my in my business, they need that. They're working on that. So I found a business coach that I could go to, and then
mhm,
I found a group like my own little tribe. Um,
mhm,
Kelly and Chris, I'll say hi, Kelly and Chris, to work on our websites, to work on our branding, to work on all those things, and then I go and teach it to others.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I'm taking advantage of this time. That's what I'm trying to say, is that I'm really taking
mhm,
advantage and thinking of it as
mhm,
I don't have to commit myself. I don't have to overcommit myself to doing other things. I'm going to take this time for me and to work towards my
mhm.
future. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Exactly. That's very nice, nicely said. And exactly that's also what I'm trying to do, to just focus on myself and put more effort in self-development and in my personal growth. And to do that, my focus isn't that much on COVID and everything that's going on worldwide, but it's more on myself and on inner strength and on my growth. Oh, I see the screen is like kind of freezing. Do you still hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Ah, okay, okay, that's good. We're almost going to the end of the live. We have like about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
Is there anything that you say like I want to add this or I want to dive a little deeper into this?
Yeah, I could just say that if somebody is if somebody's on here and they're feeling isolated and alone, reach out to somebody. Just
Mhm,
reach out
mhm.
because like isolation is the number one killer. And I know, I'm saying, oh, I love my private time. I love it, but not everybody does. You know,
No, no. No, that's also true. Not everybody does, and everybody like even people that like spending time alone or have quality time on their own. I think months in a row being on your own at home is also something different than spending quality time with yourself. So indeed, reach out for a talk, for a message, for whatever, just to give you the feeling that you're not on your own. I think that's very powerful message. Yeah. So you're also writing your first book. You mentioned a bit before. Is there anything you want to share about it, or is it like more
uh,
secret right now or classified?
yeah, yeah, we're working on a little book for children and core values for children, and
Okay.
really fostering that. But I have so many books that I have like in my mind's eye that I've written down. But I finally started using Trello. Have you ever used Trello
No,
before?
no,
I
no.
love Trello. It's an online. It's Trello.com, and I'm not an affiliate, but it's just like a file cabinet where you can color code. It's very, very visual, which I need. And so I have all these books laid out, and like they're like half done or a quarter done, or just the table of contents. So yeah, I see many more books in my future. But
Okay.
but right now, yeah, everything's spinning. All these plates are spinning at one time.
Oh, that's yeah, yeah. Sometimes you also have to pick the highest priority because there are so many things you can do, and there are so many interesting things and so many courses to learn and workshops to attend and give. Sometimes it's also about keeping your focus and know what you setting priorities, right? I know that one as well. So yeah, but I'm curious to see the first book. So anyway, if people are interested to know more, they can send you a direct message or go to a website, I assume, and get more info and get in touch with you.
Absolutely. I have a couple of websites, but the one that I will say is dorothysalvatorephotography.com. That's
Mhm.
probably the best one. Or on Facebook or Instagram. Yeah.
All right. Okay, though. Yeah, I mostly end the life with asking a question. What would you tell your 13-year-old self with the knowledge you have today?
You're okay. You're okay. You're enough.
Oh, that's a beautiful one. That's a really beautiful one. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that's also the thing we just need to hear, not only from others, but also from ourselves. I am enough. I am good enough. I think that is just, it starts with that, right? Accepting who you are and saying that you are good enough. Yeah, that's a very nice one. Yeah. All right. Um, I want to
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for making time. Do you have Thanksgiving plans for the rest of the day? Because I think you're going to celebrate.
Yes, I'm just amazed. We have two dogs. My family is downstairs, and they have been so quiet. So either they must have ate everything already.
So now it's like a little surprise when you enter his life. What's going to come? What's going to happen?
I know. But, yeah, they're like, "What are you doing upstairs? You're doing what?"
Oh,
So
thank you very much for making time. I would say enjoy the time with your family, enjoy Thanksgiving. Yeah, and we'll keep in touch. That's for sure. So yeah, thank you very, very much.
take care. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.